In the enchanted land of softwood meadows, a tiny fluffy creature named Flufftail dreams of exploring the world beyond her cozy home. She's known for her big heart and her soft, cloud-like fur. Her home is a place where clouds meet the trees, and every critter is friendly and sweet. One day, the mysterious cloudberries fruits that only grow in the farthest corners of the meadow are needed to save her village from a coming winter storm. Flufftail is chosen by the village elders for the mission, and she's joined by her best friends Fluffpaw, the clever bunny, Twinkle, the brave bird, and Cloudpuff, the magical creature who can float on the breeze. Together, they venture into the unknown, solve puzzles, and face challenges that require courage, kindness, and, of course, teamwork. But an unexpected adversary, the Storm Age, tries to stop them. Along the way, Flufftail learns more about herself, her friends, and what it truly means to be part of something bigger than herself. In the heart of softwood meadows, where the trees were tall and the clouds swirled like cotton candy, there lived a little creature named Fluff. She was small and round, with soft, cloud-like fur that made her look like a puff of cotton floating on a gentle breeze. Her large, bright eyes sparkled with curiosity, and her heart was full of dreams. Flufftail loved her village. It was the place where the sun always shone, the grass was always soft, and the air smelled like honeydew and fresh rain. The creatures of softwood meadows, bunnies, birds, and fluffy squirrels worked together to take care of their home. There were no worries, no troubles. Everything was always peaceful, just as it had been for generations. But Flufftail, unlike the other villagers, was restless. She had always felt there was something more to discover, something beyond the warm, familiar clouds of softwood meadows. Her friends loved spending their days in the meadows, playing, gathering honey, and making soft wool scarves. But Fluff couldn't help but wonder what lay beyond the hills and the streams. "I wish I could go on an adventure," she would say to her best friend Fluffpaw, a clever bunny with fluffy ears and a quick smile. Fluffpaw would giggle. "What would you do with an adventure, Flufftail? You'll never leave softwood meadows. It's the best place in the world." Flufftail would smile and nod, but deep inside, she felt a longing for something more. The village was peaceful, yes, but she yearned to see the world, to meet new creatures, and to experience the thrill of discovering new places. Every night, she would look up at the twinkling stars and dream of all the adventures waiting for her. One cool evening, while Flufftail was lying in a soft patch of grass, gazing at the clouds drifting by, she overheard the village elders talking in hushed voices. Their words made her sit up, her ears perking in curiosity. "The cloudberries are almost gone," Elder Willow, the wisest owl in the village, said. "If we don't find them soon, Adventure Valley will be lost to the coming storm." Flufftail's heart skipped a beat. Cloudberries. She had heard of them before, legendary fruits that grew only in the farthest corners of the meadow. The cloudberries were said to have magical powers, able to calm storms and bring peace to the land. Without them, the villagers would face a long, harsh winter. The elders spoke with urgency, their feathers ruffled with worry. "Only the bravest can journey to find them," Elder Willow said. "Who will take on this task?" Flufftail's heart raced. She had always wanted to do something brave. Maybe this was her chance. This was the adventure she had dreamed of. The next morning, the village gathered in the main square, where the great leafy trees stretched their branches high into the sky. The villagers waited anxiously as Elder Willow addressed them. "The time has come," Elder Willow said, his voice carrying through the crowd. "The cloudberries are our only hope. We need someone brave to find them and bring them back before the storm arrives." Flufftail stepped forward, her heart pounding. She could feel her fur puffing up with excitement. This was it. This was her chance. "I'll do it," Flufftail called out, her voice steady but full of determination. The villagers turned to look at her in surprise. Flufftail had always been known for her kindness, her soft nature, and her love for the meadow. But no one had ever thought of her as an adventurer. "You, Flufftail," Elder Willow said with a kind smile. "Are you sure?" Fly villagers gasped in surprise, but then they cheered, their paws clapping together in support. Flufftail smiled and looked around. Her best friend, Fluffpaw, was standing nearby, her big ears flopping as she hopped forward. "I'll go with you," Fluffpaw exclaimed. "I can't let you go alone." Flufftail laughed and hugged her friend. "Thanks, Fluffpaw. I'm glad. You'll be with me." Ryder, the village leader, walked up to them, his fur ruffled from the early morning breeze. "I'll send a few more helpers with you," he said. "You won't be alone on this journey. The road ahead will be full of surprises." As Ryder spoke, Twinkle, the brave bird, fluttered down from the trees with a gentle flap of her wings. She wore a bright blue feather in her tail, and her eyes sparkled with mischief. "Count me in," she chirped. "I can scout ahead and help you find your way. Next, Cloudpuff, the magical creature who could float on the wind, appeared from behind a nearby bush, glowing with a soft ethereal light. I will help you too, Cloudpuff said, her voice like a whispering breeze. I can carry you across the hardest obstacles. Flufftail's heart swelled with joy. She wasn't alone on this quest. With her friends by her side, she felt braver than ever. Ryder handed Flufftail a small pouch filled with supplies berries for snacks, a map of the meadow, and a tiny enchanted lantern to light their way. Good luck, he said with a smile. May the winds guide your journey. Fly their first destination, the Whispering Woods, a place full of mystery and magic. It was said that the trees there could talk hand if you listened closely. They would give you clues to guide your way. Let's go, Flufftail said with a grin. Adventure's waiting for us. The next morning, Flufftail and her companions set out for the Whispering Woods. The sun was just beginning to rise, painting the sky in hues of pink and orange. A gentle breeze brushed through the soft grasses of softwood meadows, and Flufftail could feel her heart race with excitement. They were finally going on the adventure Flufftail had always dreamed of. Twinkle the bird fluttered above them, scouting. Ahead, with her keen eyes, Fluffpaw hopped beside Flufftail, her fluffy ears twitching with excitement. Cloudpuff floated lazily in the air, her glow adding a magical touch to their journey. Flufftail smiled at her friends. With them by her side, she felt unstoppable. After walking for what seemed like hours, they finally reached the edge of the Whispering Woods. The trees towered above them, their trunks wide and twisted, and their leaves shimmered with a soft, ethereal glow. A cool mist clung to the ground, and the air smelled of fresh pine and sweet flowers. This is it, Ryder said, pausing in front of the woods. The Whispering Woods are full of secrets, and the trees are said to speak to those who listen. Closely, be careful, though the forest can be tricky. Flufftail nodded. She was nervous but determined. We're ready. Let's go. The moment they stepped into the woods, the trees seemed to lean closer, their branches creaking and groaning in the wind. The path ahead was unclear, and the shadows of the trees made everything look mysterious. As they walked deeper into the forest, they heard a soft whisper. Who? Flufftail stopped in her tracks, her ears perked up. Did you hear that? It's the trees, Cloudpuff said softly. They're trying to speak to us. Flufftail stood still, listening carefully. The voice came again, softer this time, but clear. Follow the path where the light leads. The cloudberries are near, but not yet within reach. The trees seemed to whisper these words over and over again. Guiding them forward, Flufftail turned to her friends, her heart full of excitement. Let's follow the light. They continued down the winding path, with the trees whispering secrets and clues along the way. Every now and then, Fluffpaw would hop to the side to investigate a bright flower or an unusual stone, and Twinkle would chirp excitedly about something she saw high up in the branches. Flufftail felt a sense of wonder as she looked around. The Whispering Woods were alive with magic, and it felt as though the whole world was watching and guiding them. After a while, they came to a clearing. In the middle of the clearing was a large, glowing tree with golden fruit hanging from its branches. The air around it shimmered, and the fruit sparkled like jewels. This must be it, Flufftail exclaimed, the cloudberries. But as she moved closer, she noticed something strange. The tree wasn't just glowing, it was guarded. A large shadowy figure stood beneath the tree. She stepped back, her paws trembling. The shadowy figure before them was tall and imposing, and its glowing eyes locked onto Flufftail with an intense gaze. It was a creature unlike any Flufftail had seen before. Cloud, part stone, with wings that seemed to shimmer like mist. The creature spoke in a deep, rumbling voice. You seek the cloudberries, little ones. But to reach them, you must pass the Stony River challenge. Flufftail blinked in confusion. The Stony River! Yes, the creature said. Beyond this clearing lies a river of giant stones. You must find a way across. Only those who can use their hearts and minds together may pass. Flufftail creature's wings fluttered gently. You must work together. Find the path and let the stones guide you. With that, the creature disappeared, vanishing into a swirl of mist, leaving only the clearing behind. The pup stared at the river ahead. Sure enough, there was a wide river that stretched as far as the eye could see, and it was filled with enormous stones, piled high like a rocky maze. The water flowed swiftly between the stones, making it look impossible to cross. Twinkle Rubble looked at the rocks with a determined grin. I can help. I'm great at moving things. Flufftail nodded. We'll need to work together. They started by testing the stones, hopping from one to another. Some were solid and firm, while others wobbled and shifted beneath their paws. But they didn't give up. Together, they used their strengths to find a path. Fluffpaw hopped ahead, her ears twitching as she found the best stones to step on. Twinkle flew ahead to scout, calling down advice from above. Rubble pushed aside any stones that were too heavy to move, while Cloudpuff floated above, guiding them safely through the gaps. Flufftail, though small, took the lead, carefully picking her way across the stones. Her heart was full of courage, and with her friends by her side, she knew they could do it. Finally, after a long journey across the slippery, wobbly stones, they reached the far side of the river. Everyone cheered in triumph, their tails wagging. In excitement, "You did it!" Twinkle chirped. "We made it across," Flufftail smiled, her heart swelling with pride. "We did it together. Now, let's find those cloudberries." As they turned back to the glowing tree, the forest seemed to whisper again, its voice warm and encouraging. "Well done, little ones. The cloudberries await. The final challenge is close." Flufftail took a deep breath, feeling more ready than ever for the next step of their adventure. With the stony river behind them, Flufftail and her friends pressed on, their spirits lifted by their success. The glowing tree with the cloudberries shimmered in the distance, but there was something else, a feeling that they weren't quite there yet. The forest seemed to grow denser, and the air thicker. As they ventured deeper, they came upon a narrow path leading to a dark cave. "This must be the Cave of Echoes," Flufftail said quietly. She had heard stories of it before, a place where one's deepest thoughts were reflected back to them, showing memories and hidden fears. Twinkle floated a little higher. "I'll go first. I can sense if something's dangerous." Ryder nodded. "Let's stay together. No matter what, we'll face this as a team." They ventured into the cave, the ground soft beneath their paws. Inside, the walls seemed to glow faintly, reflecting the light from their lantern. The air was cool and damp, and the echoes of their footsteps followed them, growing louder with each step. The deeper they went, the more intense the echoes became. Flufftail could hear voices, her own voice, her friends' voices, but there was something strange about them. They didn't sound like they usually did. They sounded different. "Did you hear that?" Flufftail asked, her ears twitching. "I did," Fluffpaw said, her nose wrinkling. "It sounds like ... us, but not quite." As they moved further in, the echoes grew stronger. They began to see flashes of images on the walls, moments from their past. There were pictures of Flufftail as a small creature, watching her. First sunrise in softwood meadows, and of Fluffpaw bouncing joyfully on the meadow's soft grass. They saw Twinkle soaring through the skies, and Cloudpuff floating over the village, glowing with magic. Flufftail gasped. "It's showing us our memories." "Not just memories," Cloudpuff said softly. "It's showing us the strength we've gained along the way. The Cave of Echoes helps us understand who we are." As they moved through the cave, they saw a new memory of Flufftail, feeling nervous and unsure. Just before she had set out on this adventure, she had doubted her own ability to lead, unsure if she was brave enough. But then, the images shifted again, showing her standing tall, leading her friends through challenges, facing fears, and overcoming obstacles with kindness and courage. Flufftail smiled, the warm glow of confidence spreading through her. "I can do this," she whispered to herself. "This is the Heartstone," Ryder explained. "It's said to show you the true strength of your heart." Flufftail stepped forward, her paws trembling. She reached out and touched the Heartstone. Soft, warm light wrapped around her, and in that moment, Flufftail felt a deep sense of peace. She could feel the power of all her memories, all her adventures, and all the love she had for her friends. The Heartstone glowed brighter, and she knew she was ready to face whatever came next. Flufftail and her friends emerged from the Cave of Echoes, their hearts filled with a new sense of purpose. They had faced their doubts and fears, and now, with the Heartstone's light shining in their hearts, they felt stronger than ever. Ahead of them, the glowing tree stood tall, the cloudberries hanging from its branches like golden jewels. But just as they were about to take their next step, a dark cloud suddenly appeared overhead, blocking out the sun. The air grew colder, and the wind howled as a figure descended from the sky. It was the Storm Mage, a tall, shadowy figure with eyes glowing like lightning bolts. He hovered above them, his cloak billowing like a storm cloud. "You thought you could take the cloudberries, little ones," the Storm Mage boomed. "You're wrong. I won't let you." Storm Mage laughed, a sound like thunder rumbling. "In the sky, I am the keeper of the storm. I control the weather, and I've been waiting for you to come. You think you can save your village with the cloudberries? The storm is already too strong. You'll never make it back." The cloudberries are nothing but a myth," the Storm Mage sneered. "I've watched over this forest for years. You'll never be able to defeat me." Twinkle fluttered close to Flufftail, her feathers ruffled. "We have something you don't," she said. "Friendship and teamwork. We don't give up. Cloud nodded, her glowing form shimmering in the light. You may be powerful, Storm Mage, but we have the heart of the forest on our side. The Storm Mage glared at them, his eyes sparking with anger, then prepared to face the storm. With the flick of his fingers, the wind howled louder, and dark clouds swirled around them. Lightning flashed, and thunder crashed overhead. The Storm Mage summoned a whirlwind of wind and rain, making it nearly impossible to see or move. Flufftail stood tall, the heartstone still glowing brightly in her paws. She could feel the storm's power, but she also knew that she had something stronger, her friends. Together, Flufftail shouted, "We can do this!" The pup sprang into action. Fluffpaw hopped forward, dodging the wind as she used her quick feet to find a safe path. Twinkle zipped through the air, using her wings to calm the gusts. Cloudpuff floated above the storm, her soft glow cutting through the darkness. Flufftail's heart raced, but she stood firm. With the heartstone in her paws, she focused on the light that filled her. The storm swirled around her, but the warmth from the heartstone seemed to calm the winds. "Please, stop," Flufftail called out, her voice full of determination. "The storm is not the answer. Only kindness and courage can bring peace." The Storm Mage faltered, his glowing eyes dimming. For a moment, the storm slowed, and the wind died down. Flufftail stepped forward, her paws steady. "We have come this far, and we won't give up. The cloudberries are the key to saving our home, and we will protect them." With one final surge of light from the heartstone, the storm vanished, and the sky cleared. The Storm Mage looked down at Flufftail, his anger fading. "You've won," he said softly. "I see now. Kindness, courage, those are the true powers." With that, the Storm Mage vanished into the breeze, leaving behind only the peaceful sounds of the forest. FLOOF. "We did it," Flufftail whispered, her heart full of joy. "Now, let's save our village." With the Storm Mage gone, the air around them felt lighter, as if the weight of the storm had been lifted. The sky cleared, and the sun broke through the clouds, casting a warm, golden glow over the forest. Flufftail, Fluffpaw, Twinkle, and Cloudpuff stood before the glowing tree, their hearts full of hope. The cloudberries shimmered brightly on the tree's branches, their golden light reflecting off the leaves. Flufftail took a deep breath, her paws trembling with excitement. They had made it. After all the challenges, all the obstacles, they had finally reached the cloudberry grove. "This is it," Flufftail whispered, her voice full of awe. "The cloudberries, the key to saving softwood meadows." Twinkle fluttered excitedly around the tree, her wings sparkling in the sunlight. "They're even more beautiful than I imagined." But as Flufftail stepped forward to reach the cloudberries, a soft voice called out to her from above. "Not so fast." Flufftail froze, looking up. From the top of the tree, a large, fluffy cloud creature appeared, gentle-looking with soft billowing fur, like the clouds in the sky. Its eyes glowed like stars, and its voice was deep and kind. "I am Cloud Mist, the guardian of the cloudberry grove," the creature said, floating down toward them. "You've come far, little ones, but before you take the cloudberries, you must prove that you are worthy of them." Flufftail stood tall, her heart racing, but her mind clear. "We've come to save our village from the coming storm," she said. "The cloudberries are the only way. We promise we'll use them with kindness and care." Cloud Mist smiled warmly. "I know your hearts are pure, little one, but the cloudberries are not just for anyone. They are a symbol of harmony, of the balance between the sky and the earth. Only those who understand the power of balance can truly claim them." Flufftail nodded. "We understand. We've learned so much on this journey. We've learned about teamwork, about courage, and about kindness. We'll use the cloudberries to bring peace back to our village." Cloud Mist floated closer, his soft, fluffy body radiating warmth. "Very well. To prove your understanding of balance, you must complete one final task. You must find the balance between the earth and the sky, between light and shadow." Fluff's heart fluttered. She looked at her friends, who nodded, their faces full of determination. "We'll do it," Flufftail said firmly. Cloud Mist closed his eyes, and for a moment, the entire grove grew still. The air felt thick with magic, and the trees around them seemed to whisper in the breeze. "Place your paws on the earth," Cloud Mist said, "and think of the sky. Think of the stars, the clouds, the winds, and the sun. Now think of the earth, the flowers, the trees, the rivers, and the creatures that live here." Flufftail stepped forward, placing her paws on the soft, mossy ground. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. She thought of the village, of the soft meadows, and the big, wide sky above. She thought of the clouds floating lazily, of the sun shining warmly, and of the wind that carried whispers through the trees. As she breathed in, she felt the magic of the forest, the sky, and the earth connect within her. She could feel the balanced the harmony between them. Slowly, Fluffpaw, Twinkle, and Cloudpuff joined her, placing their paws on the ground. The soft glow from the cloudberries seemed to pulse in time with their hearts. For a moment, everything was still. The breeze, the trees, even the very air seemed to hold its breath. And then, slowly, the cloudberries began to glow brighter, their golden light bathing the grove in a soft, warm radiance. Cloud Mist smiled. "You have done it. You have found the balance. The cloudberries are yours to take." Flufftail's heart leaped with joy as she reached up and carefully plucked the cloudberries from the tree. The moment her paws touched them, a burst of light filled the air, and she could feel their magic flowing through her. The power of the cloudberries was incredible, gentle, and strong. Like the balance between the sky and the earth, "You have proven yourselves worthy," Cloud Mist said. "Now, take the cloudberries back to your village, and may their magic protect you." Flufftail carefully placed the cloudberries in her pouch, a sense of peace washing over her. "Thank you, Cloud Mist. We won't let you down." With that, Cloud Mist slowly floated back into the sky, his glowing form fading into the clouds. Flufftail turned to her friends, her heart full of excitement. "We did it! We have the cloudberries!" Twinkle flapped her wings. "We did it! We did it! Let's get back to Softwood Meadows." Fluffpaw smiled. "We've been through so much together, but now we can finally save the village." With the cloudberries safely in tow, Flufftail and her friends set off on their journey back to Softwood Meadows. The path was long, but with the power of the cloudberries and the strength of their friendship, they knew they could face anything that came their way. The journey back to Softwood Meadows felt lighter, the path brighter than before. Flufftail and her friends, with the magical cloudberries safely tucked in a pouch, walked together under the golden glow of the setting sun. The breeze was gentle, and the world seemed to hum with quiet joy as they made their way home. The challenges they had faced on their quest were still fresh in their minds, but they carried with them not only the cloudberries but the memories of their adventures, their bravery, and their friendship. "Look," Fluffpaw said, hopping excitedly. "There's the hill. Softwood Meadows is just ahead." Flufftail squinted into the distance, her heart racing with excitement. Through the trees, she could see the familiar rolling hills, the soft meadows, and the bright, colorful flowers that dotted the landscape in the distance. The rooftops of Softwood Village peeked over the horizon. They were almost home. Cloudpuff floated along lazily, her soft glow adding a magical sparkle to the air. "We've all done something amazing. The village will be safe again, and we've all learned so much." Flufftail smiled. "I've learned that adventure isn't just about what you find at the end. It's about the journey, the friends you make, and the courage you discover along the way." As they walked closer to the village, Flufftail felt a wave of warmth wash over her. She had always loved Softwood Meadows, the peaceful village, the soft clouds, the familiar faces. But now, it felt even more special. It was home, and it had a magic all its own, a magic that was brought to life by the connections between its people, its creatures, and the world around it. When they finally reached the village, they were greeted with cheers. The villagers had gathered at the edge of the meadow, their faces full of hope and excitement. Ryder stood at the front, smiling warmly as Flufftail and her friends approached. "You did it," Ryder called out, his voice full of pride. "You've returned with the cloudberries." Flufftail nodded, her heart full of joy. "We did it together." The villagers cheered and clapped, and Flufftail could see her family among the crowd, their faces beaming with pride. Her parents rushed to her side, wrapping her in a warm hug. "We're so proud of you, Flufftail," her mother said, her eyes glistening with tears. "You've shown so much courage. We couldn't have done it without each other," replied, smiling at her friends. Elder Willow, the wise owl who had guided the village for many years, stepped forward. "You have brought hope to Softwood Meadows, little one," he said, his voice deep and wise. "The cloudberries will protect us from the storm and bring balance back to our home." Flufftail held up the cloudberries, their soft glow lighting up the evening sky. "We'll make sure they're used with kindness and care," she said. "Together, we can face anything." The villagers gathered around as Elder Willow carefully took the cloudberries from Flufftail and placed them into a sacred stone bowl. A soft golden light enveloped the berries, and the air around them seemed to shimmer with magic. As the cloudberries bloom, the storm will be calmed, and the land will be restored. Elder Willow said, "This is the power of balance. When we work together, we can overcome any challenge." Flufftail stood beside her friends, her heart full of gratitude. She had set out on this adventure with only a dream, but now, standing with the cloudberries and her closest friends, she realized that the true magic lay in the journey itself, the lessons learned, the bonds formed, and the love that filled their hearts. As the cloudberries bloomed, Soft petals of light blossomed from the stone bowl. The wind shifted, carrying the scent of fresh flowers and rain. The storm clouds that had threatened the village drifted away, replaced by clear skies and a gentle, soothing breeze. The village erupted in cheers, and Flufftail felt her heart soar. She had done it. They had done it. Together, they had saved Softwood Meadows. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with vibrant colors. Flufftail stood with her friends, looking up at the stars, beginning to twinkle above. The journey was over, but she knew that this was only the beginning. With her friends by her side, there were still so many adventures to be had. "Thank you, Flufftail," whispered to the sky, "for the cloudberries, for the adventure, and for the magic of friendship." And with that, Flufftail, Fluffpaw, Twinkle, and Cloudpuff turned back to the village, their hearts light, their spirits high, and their bond stronger than ever. They knew that no matter what came next, they would face it together. As the days passed, Softwood Meadows returned to its peaceful rhythm, and the magic of the cloudberries continued to fill the air, keeping the village safe and flourishing. Flufftail, Fluffpaw, Twinkle, and Cloudpuff were celebrated as heroes, but their hearts remained humble. They had learned that the true magic was not in the cloudberries, but in the love, teamwork, and courage that had guided them through their adventure. Flufftail, now known as the village's youngest adventurer, spent her days sharing stories of their journey with the younger creatures, teaching them the lessons she had learned along the way. She taught them that every challenge, no matter how big, could be overcome with kindness and cooperation. Fluffpaw, her clever companion, continued to hop through the meadows, her ears twitching with excitement at the thought of the next adventure that might come their way. She had learned that sometimes being clever wasn't about finding the quickest solution, was about thinking together and supporting one another. Twinkle, the brave little bird, had returned to flying high above the village, her wings shining in the sunlight. But she wasn't just exploring the skies anymore. She was also keeping an eye out for any new adventures that might come their way, always ready to dive into action. When needed, and Cloudpuff, the magical creature who could float on the breeze, continued to drift through Softwood Meadows, sharing her soft glow with all who needed a little light. She had discovered that sometimes the best way to help others was simply to be there, bringing comfort and a sense of calm in times of uncertainty. Together, these four friends knew that no matter where the winds of adventure took them next, they would always have each other. And with their hearts full of kindness and courage, they knew that the greatest magic of all was the power of friendship. So, when the sun set over Softwood Meadows, painting the sky with hues of purple and gold, Flufftail and her friends would look out over their home, knowing that their greatest adventures were yet to come.